out of the vehicle, now!
I'd rather not have guns in my face. Check my ID.
Wait, FBI?
That's what happens when you assume.
Naomi Carter's fingers drummed lightly against the steering wheel of her brand-new Mercedes-Benz S580. The quiet hum of the engine drowning out the noise of Atlanta's evening traffic. She had just left the federal building downtown after a 14-hour day. Another case closed. Another terrorist cell dismantled. Another quiet victory nobody would ever publicly credit her for. But Naomi didn't do it for praise. She did it for the oath she took 12 years ago when she joined the Federal Bureau of Investigation. To serve, to protect, and to stand between chaos and order, no matter who underestimated her. The luxury car wasn't about showing off. It was a celebration, a gift to herself for a decade of sleepless nights, undercover work, and endless sacrifices. She wore a simple navy blue suit, gold earrings, and no makeup except for a swipe of lip gloss. Her badge was tucked inside her blazer, her sidearm secure in the compartment between her seats. She turned down a quiet street near Buckhead, less crowded, less noisy. Then came the flashing lights, blue and red, right in her rear-view mirror. At first, Naomi thought maybe the officer was headed somewhere else. But as the siren wailed twice and the cruiser stayed glued to her bumper, reality sank in. He was pulling her over. She sighed and slowed the car, steering carefully to the curb. Her hand stayed on the wheel, calm but firm. Her training had taught her what to do, even when she was the one with authority. In the side mirror, she saw him. White, mid-40s, heavy-set, wearing mirrored aviators that reflected nothing but arrogance. He walked toward her car like he was approaching an enemy. License and registration, he barked, before she could even roll the window all the way down. Naomi looked up, voice steady. Evening, officer. May I ask what this is about? He sneered. You tell me. Nice car. Doesn't exactly fit the area. Step out of the vehicle. Naomi blinked slowly. Excuse me. You heard me. His tone hardened. Step out of the car. Don't make me ask again. Something inside her shifted. The quiet kind of anger. The one built from years of being second-guessed, talked over, and disrespected in rooms full of men who thought her skin color was a flaw, not a fact. But she didn't move. She just looked at him. Her voice dropped an octave, low and precise. Officer, for your own safety and mine, I'd like you to know I'm an armed federal agent. My badge is inside my blazer, left side. My firearm is holstered at my waist. I am reaching slowly for identification now. He froze, for half a heartbeat. He seemed unsure. Then, like pride wouldn't let him back down, he stepped closer. Let's see it then, he said, almost challenging her. Naomi moved deliberately. No sudden motion. No defiance. Just controlled professionalism. She pulled her leather badge holder from her jacket pocket and flipped it open. The gold letters gleamed in the dim light. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Special Agent Naomi Carter. Counterterrorism Division. His jaw tightened. This some kind of joke? She tilted her head slightly. If it is, I don't think you'd be laughing. Silence. The power shifted instantly. He glanced at the badge again, then at her gun. Holstered, secure, legal. Then came the stammer. Why didn't you say that first? I did, she said. You just weren't listening. A passing car slowed. Then another. Someone had their phone out. Because in 2025, everyone knew what this looked like. A black woman in a luxury car. A white cop leaning in. Raised voices. Naomi didn't need to imagine headlines. She'd seen too many already. But this time, she wasn't going to be the silent one. Officer, what exactly was the probable cause for this stop? She asked. His face reddened. Routine traffic check. For what? I wasn't speeding. My registration's valid. My tags are new. So what was it? The car? Or me? His hand twitched near his belt. Don't play games with me, lady. Agent, she corrected him sharply. Special Agent Carter. That one word, agent, shifted the entire energy. His confidence cracked like glass. Naomi's voice stayed smooth but firm. I suggest you call your supervisor before this gets worse. The silence was heavy, the air thick with embarrassment. He stepped back and muttered something into his radio. Naomi waited, hands still resting on the wheel, her eyes straight ahead. She wasn't afraid. She was angry, but a controlled, clinical kind of anger, the kind that came from living under suspicion, even when you were the law. A second cruiser pulled up minutes later. Out stepped a black sergeant, older, calm, with experience written in every wrinkle on his face. He approached Naomi's car, with both palms visible. "Agent Carter," he said quietly after seeing her badge. "I'm sorry for the inconvenience. There seems to have been a misunderstanding." Her voice didn't rise. "A misunderstanding could turn deadly if I'd move wrong." He nodded. "I know. I'll handle it." The first officer avoided her gaze completely now, his face drained of color, as the sergeant led his officer away. Naomi sat there a moment, her reflection trembling slightly in the glass. Not from fear, but from realization. It didn't matter how many degrees she had, how many cases she cracked, how many nights she'd spent keeping the country safe. To some, she'd still just be a black woman who didn't belong behind the wheel of a Mercedes. She whispered to herself, "They respect the badge, not the person wearing it." And she knew right then, this wasn't going to end at a traffic stop. This was the beginning of a reckoning. If this story moved you, hit that like button right now. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I see you from every corner of the world. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful true-to-life stories that speak truth to power. Because silence protects no one, but your voice just might save someone else's life. By the next morning, the world had seen it. The short clip, shaky, filmed from across the street, showed the officer shouting, Naomi's calm voice identifying herself, and that tense pause when she displayed her badge. In 15 seconds of grainy footage, the power dynamic flipped. A black woman, professional, poised, surrounded by authority that didn't respect her, until they were forced to. The caption read, "He thought she was just another suspect. Turns out she's FBI." By noon, the video had 1 million views. By evening, 10. At the FBI field office, whispers ran like wildfire. Agents who'd known Naomi for years stopped by her desk with tight smiles and careful nods. Some said, "You handled that better than anyone could have." Others whispered, "Maybe just lay low for a while." But Naomi didn't join the bureau to lay low. When the assistant director called her into his office, he spoke carefully. "Agent Carter, we support you. But this situation has gone viral. The bureau doesn't like its agents in the spotlight. Maybe we should let the local department handle the investigation." She looked him dead in the eye. "Sir, I was racially profiled, detained without cause, and almost drawn on while representing this bureau. Silence would make me complicit." He hesitated. "You sure you want to take this on?" Her answer was sharp, certain, final. "I've taken on worse." That week, Naomi filed an official misconduct complaint with the Atlanta Police Department's Internal Affairs Division. Every detail was methodical. The time, the badge number, the phrases used, the threats implied. She cited unlawful detention, racial bias, and officer misconduct under color of authority. The department's PR team called it an unfortunate misunderstanding. Naomi called it a symptom. A journalist from the Atlanta Post requested a sit-down interview. At first, Naomi declined. Then she realized her silence would only protect the wrong people. She agreed. Under soft lights, camera rolling, the interviewer asked, "Agent Carter, what went through your mind that night when the officer told you to step out car?" Naomi leaned forward slightly, voice calm. "I wasn't afraid. I was disappointed. Because even in uniform, even with credentials, my skin color still put me in danger. That's not fear, that's fatigue. And I'm tired." The clip aired nationwide. The interview hit 3 million views within 2 days. People share her words with hashtags like #tired of being targeted, #Agent Carter speaks. Behind closed doors, the police department was in chaos. The officer, Sergeant Daniels, was suspended pending review. The black sergeant who de-escalated the situation, Sergeant Roy Mitchell, was asked to testify. He told Internal Affairs exactly what he saw. She was calm, professional. She did everything right. He didn't. The committee fell silent. Within a week, Daniel's body cam footage was released. It confirmed everything Naomi had said, including the moment he radioed a suspicious black female, likely stolen vehicle, before ever approaching her. The city was furious. Protests sparked outside City Hall, not in chaos, but in unity. People held signs reading, "Respect black women. Credentials don't erase racism." When Naomi testified at the disciplinary hearing, she wore the same navy blue suit she'd worn that night. Crisp, commanding, and untouchable. Facing the review board, she said, "This isn't about humiliation or headlines. This is about accountability. I can't change being black, but you can change how your officers treat black people." Daniels avoided her eyes. When the verdict came, the board voted unanimously for termination. The city announced a new racial sensitivity and procedural reform initiative, named, ironically, Project Carter. When it was over, Naomi stood outside City Hall. The evening sun dipped behind the skyline, painting the sky gold. Reporters called her name. Cameras flashed, but she didn't stop to speak. Her work was done. She sat in her car, that same Mercedes, and took a deep breath. Cairo radio chatter whispered in the background. She turned it off. Then her phone buzzed. A message from her mother. "Proud of you, baby. You spoke for more than just yourself." Naomi smiled softly. For the first time in weeks, she felt peace. Some people see power only when it's worn on a badge. But true power, the kind that changes things, comes from standing your ground when the world expects you to bow. Naomi knew this wouldn't end racism, but she also knew her story would force people to think before they reach for fear. She was more than a statistic. She was a symbol of what happens when strength meets grace, and grace demands justice. If this story inspired you, tap that like button, drop a comment below, and tell me where you're watching from. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful, real-life inspired stories that speak truth to power. Because silence never brings change, but your voice might.